strength is made perfect in your weakness. His power shows up in your pain. He knows every test and trial you face. He'll shelter you from the rain. When your back's against the wall and you've given it your all, oh, just hold on, till it won't be long. Your struggles will soon be gone. They'll be gone. He'll always deliver His promises. His mercies are new every day. He knows what I need before I even ask. His grace is sufficient when I stray. When you don't understand, remember God has a plan. Oh, just hold on, till it won't be long. Your struggles will soon be gone. Struggles will be gone.
another amazing day this is. I hope that things are going amazing for you this particular day. I'm wishing you the best that life has to offer you. Would you do me a favor? Don't forget to hit that share button. Make sure you are sharing the link to these sessions on the channel. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, what's up with that? You need to subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you can get abreast and alerted on every single time new content is up and new content is released. Don't forget, you can also go to my website at henrybolden.com and send your comments, your questions. As you know, these last few sessions have been a result of a great deal of the questions that a lot of you have sent me over the last few days, and so I'm trying to cover as much of it as I possibly can to at least give you some insight and some information and some tools and strategies to be able to manage and process whatever issues that you might be going through at the moment. And so today, I want to talk about being more deliberate about the direction your life is taking. Being more deliberate, or for some, actually starting to be deliberate about the direction that your life is taking. When we talk about initially understanding of being deliberate, we're talking about moving, operating, functioning consciously, intentionally, routinely. That is what I mean when I talk about living very deliberately. It's being conscious and intent on every step, every move, every decision, every endeavor in your life routinely. In other words, you're not deliberate or take a deliberate interest in the direction of your life randomly. But it is a routine, a ritualistic movement, thought process, and how you're processing life each and every day, determined to be absolutely deliberate. I tell people all the time, you either live your life deliberately or you either live it by default. In other words, you simply get up with the mentality that wherever life lets me off today, that's where I'm going to be. And believe me when I tell you that it's absolutely no way to live, that is certainly no way to produce the kind of results that you want out of your life. It is certainly no way to live up to your fullest potential. But each and every day of your life, you have to be intentionally deliberate, or you're going to fall victim to simply living life by default. When you are deliberate or a deliberate individual, it simply means that you act with a more focused state of mind. There is this internal filter that doesn't necessarily allow you or I to be easily distracted or drawn away by things that have absolutely nothing to do with our overall agenda or our end result that we have in our mind, because our mind is in a focused place. This is why it is critical that every day you get up, you reorientate yourself on where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. Because since the last time you said it, there have been a whole lot of things, issues, adversaries, elements in your life that have tried to attack your mind and say things like, you'll never get it done, you'll never accomplish this, certainly you'll never be able to do anything of this kind of magnitude in your life. But you have to have a very, very focused mind, because everything that you are wanting to materialize in your life is dependent on your mind being extremely focused at all times. And so when you are deliberate, it means that I must maintain a focused state of mind. I must sustain it by eliminating as best as I can from my immediate environment things that do not feed my mind, fuel my mind to keep focused and keep a clear line of sight to the place that I ultimately want to be. And so it means that I'm living a life with a more focused state of mind. It means that I'm also living a life that is not dictated by the whims nor the wishes of anybody else. When I'm being deliberate about the direction and the course, the outcome of my life, then it means I can ill afford to live it based on the whims and the wishes of anybody else. I've said it over and over again. You only have one life to live, so you might as well live it the way you want to live it, in terms of what you see internally for yourself, the kind of life, the kind of lifestyle that you want for yourself, for your family, for your the next generation, your lineage, your bloodline. Then you had better detach yourself from this unfounded obligation that you have to live according to the wishes and the whims of others. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you how much of my life, early on in life, that I lived at the behest of others, because I thought doing it that way would, of course, give me some acceptance, of course, make me feel as if I belong. But the reality is that what sense does it make for me to be a success of what you want me to do? But I fail very miserably at being who I was predestined to be on the earth. And I miss out making the kind of impact, the kind of lifelong imprint, an indelible impression that I was supposed to be making, all because I'm simply just trying to live according to the whims and the wishes of other people. So if you're going to, from this moment on, begin to live your life very deliberately, take the next phase of your life, for some the next half, for some the next quarter, whatever it is we have left of it, and decide that I'm not going to live it randomly, but I'm going to be intentionally, routinely, every single day of my life, I'm going to be accountable for my actions, for the activities, for who I give access to into my space, because my life will not turn out the way I want it to, as long as I am dead set on living my life according to the whims and the wishes of others. It means that when I am deliberate about my life and securing the kind of future that I envision, it means that I'm living a life that is not solely motivated and controlled by the timelines of other people's demands either. Now, this is going to be really critical, because most of us are on everybody else's timeline except ours. And consequently, we shelve dreams that should have been accomplished by now, projects we should have finished by now. Generally, we see no problem with shelving what we need to do and should be doing, and opt to do what others want us to do every single time. But if you're going to deliberately manage your life from this point on, in terms of being very deliberately about the outcome of it and the course that you're on, then you can no longer be controlled by the timelines of everybody else's demand. Because if you haven't figured out anything yet, you figured out that everybody wants what they want from you now. I need it now, not tomorrow. I need the money now. I need you to come here now. I need you to do this now. And because everybody else is always imposing on your now, you keep pushing off everything that you should be doing for some time later. And then, of course, days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, years turn into decades. And for some, it's too late. The grave catches up with them before they have a chance to do those things that they certainly have the time, the capacity, the energy to do. But because their life was so governed and so dictated by the demands of everybody else's timeline, life slips through your hand. The older you get, you realize how quickly life goes. Have you gotten to that point in your life now? Looks like just not long ago you were 21, now you're 51. And you can't even really account for it. You have no clue as to where it went. That's one of the most tragic things. It makes you upset a little bit. I know it made me upset in certain, when I look back and say, man, what happened to that time? I have nothing to show for it. There is nothing in my ledger that validates the time that I spent doing this or the time I spent with them. And so at this juncture of your life, you have to decide that I am going to, from this point on, live my life very deliberately. Because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not live your life in a very deliberate way, then it's easy to drift off course, creating unnecessary delays in your timetables. That's deliberating mentally. Unnecessary drama that's draining you emotionally. Unnecessary disappointments that's depleting you psychologically, because the distractions you yielded to were more dominant than your commitment to being deliberate about the course of your life. I'm trying to reiterate this as aggressively as I can, so that from this moment on, you no longer live your life by default, but you live it very deliberately. Why is it that you've allowed you to become an afterthought in your actions? Again, you've put everybody else before you. You valued other people's time and their timelines and their timetables and their demands more than you have yourself. Why is it that you have put everybody else before you, and now you feel like I'm trying to play catch up? And you say, well, I'm going to do it when the kids get out of school. Well, they've graduated a few years now. What are you doing? I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to take this course. I'm going to do that. Well, what's stopping you now from taking the reins of your life, pointing them, aiming them in the direction that you want your life to go in? Because again, if you're not living your life deliberately, believe me, you are absolutely living life by default, which means you have no say-so over it. Life is dictating to you what you're going to experience, as opposed to you dictating to your life what you want out of it and what you expect to experience and what you deserve from every day of your life. The reason you have to be as deliberate as I'm trying to impress into your hearing is because the more deliberately you are, the more resistance you have to give against drifting off course. Are you going to be disappointed along the way? Absolutely. But because I'm deliberate, my stance of deliberateness prohibits me from drifting off course, drifting too far from my agenda, simply because my dream seems to be dashed. Mentally, I'm in a dire place because I'm experiencing disappointment, certainly I never anticipated on experiencing. But today, you can change all of that. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm talking to you. You can change all of that now. And say, you know what? I'm no longer living by default. I'm getting ready to live and function in life consciously, intentionally, routinely. No more random moves or acts or behaviors from me. I'm going to deliberately move into the place of my destiny. Now, being deliberate means a thought or idea has been measured, contemplated thoroughly, right? So when we talk about deliberation or to be deliberate about something, it means that you have really, really measured or contemplated thoroughly the prospects of something, the projections that you're making about your life, the possibilities that you are entertaining. And after all considerations have been made, you have now chosen to pursue it because you consider it worthy. Now, that is so vital, because my question to people all the time, whenever I'm just counseling and talking to them and breaking through some of these mental barriers, is why are you pursuing things that you see no worth in, that you have not first considered it worthy enough of your time, your energy, your effort, your enthusiasm, your emotions? All of the things that have to be invested psychologically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually into something that you have not first considered it worthy. The problem is most people, again, by default, jump into things, make decisions that are reckless, make judgments that are unfounded, and they don't find out that the endeavor was never worthy of their time until the end or midway, when they've already lost so much. But when you are deliberate about everything you do, it means I don't move until I am sure that there's something in this for me. Oh, away with, doing everything for everybody, and it's just about everybody. And because one of the things that I found out about myself is that I wasn't selfish enough. Now I'm gonna let them sink in for a moment, because immediately your brain got fried when you heard me say that. So let me say it slowly. One of the things I found out about myself a while ago is that I wasn't selfish enough. I gave too much of me to people who had no intention of giving just a fraction of themselves back. I invested in time in people for no charge sometimes, no fee. Just did it because I felt good about doing it, felt inspired, felt led to do it. But sometimes one of the things to protect your sanity and your mental space and to deliberately defend yourself against people who will take from you endlessly is that you got to learn how to be a little more selfish. Not selfish in terms of everything is about me, but guess what? Something's got to be about me. Something's got to be about you, right? As good as you are, you know you deserve something back, some exchange. And that's what living a deliberate life is really about. It's about making sure you're not depleted, that in every relationship, every partnership you're in, there is some level of exchange going on. Because if there's no exchange, then it's ultimately going to lead to depletion. And then that depletion is going to destroy the connection, the cohesiveness of whatever tie or relationship that you have. But I want you to understand, stop moving before you are clear of what's in it for you. Now, I'm not saying, of course, I'm sure you're mature enough to know that I'm mature enough. I'm not saying that there are not going to be countless times in your life you're just doing things for people because that's what you want to do. But it's not as a result of you manipulating me into doing it, you're guilting me into doing it. It's just what I want to do. But if I'm going to deliberately live my life and take my life to another dimension and level, then I can ill afford to be surrounded by people who are constantly draining, never making any deposits, never pouring back in, never refreshing, never rejuvenating to you. And so that means that from now on, you're making no moves until you think it through thoroughly, until you contemplate it, till you get some sort of idea of what's in it for me. And then once you consider it a worthy endeavor, then now it's a goal. But stop going, getting in it, losing time, life, effort, energy, breaking your heart, and then realizing it's not worth it. And so now you've got some emotional cleanup to do and all those things that are unnecessary that could have been avoided had you decided and opted to live your life in a deliberate manner. Hear this really well, and please execute this immediately. Stop allowing people to derail you from your plans when they don't have the details of your plans. When you are deliberate, it means that you understand the consequences of not doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done, right? Because, hear me, everybody's life is time sensitive. Most people never come to that awareness until they're much older. But if you're fortunate enough to grasp that concept and say, all of our lives are time sensitive, what does that mean? It means, I don't know how long I got left. You don't know how long you got left. You don't know if it's 10 years or 30. So everything you do, you had better approach it as a time sensitive matter. Because the reality is, all you have is now. No matter what plans I make tomorrow, tomorrow has to show up, and I have to be alive to be in tomorrow. Which means that I have to be very concentrated on each and every day of my life. I've got to treat every 24 hours like it might be my last, because it could be your last, right? But you got to understand the consequences of not doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done. There are some things right now that you should be doing that you're not doing. Oh, you've sold a good enough excuse to yourself and said, well, I'm tired, I'm a little exhausted, I'll do it next week. There are a whole lot of people who say they're going to do things next week who are not alive to see next week. And so stop putting off things that you should be doing now, things that are going to contribute to your legacy, that are going to bring honor to your last name and your lineage and things. So you had better start doing those things that need to be done now. Well, what do I need to do to deliberately live my life in such a way where my life is on course to its destiny, into its ideal place, into the place that I was always predestined to be? Number one, you have to deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act upon building the life you desire. Now, it's going to take you a moment, maybe a while, to understand the gravity and the importance of what I just said to you. You have to deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act upon building the life you desire. Hear me, you have to surround yourself with people who reinforce constantly to you a reality beyond the existence you've embraced as permanent. I'm going to let that sink in for a moment. You got to stop. Isn't it amazing how easy of access we give to people who bring no value, who are not mentally contributing to us? I'm not talking about tangible things or just money, but there are some people in my life now that I can't wait to get into their presence, because I know my mind is going to be expanded, right? I know I'm going to learn a new word that I didn't know before. I know I'm going to learn about a new website that I never heard of before, a new concept, a new idea. That's the kind of people you have to deliberately surround yourself with, people who constantly reinforce a reality beyond the existence that you have embraced as is at the pace of your perception of a better one. Your reality changes at the pace of your perception of a better one. Once you perceive that there's something better, a better life for you, once you change what you know, you can change what you want. As long as you didn't know that existed, then you could have no ambition for it. You could not have any aspirations to do something like that. But once you know something more is there, then it now fuels your expectation and your faith to be able to go after it with every single thing you have in your life. So you have to deliberately surround yourself with the company of people who are influencing you to think and build upon the life that you want. Somebody who's constantly reinforcing. Just because you lived there all of your life doesn't mean you have to live there. Just because you lived in this economic bracket all of your life doesn't mean you have to live there the rest of your life. You need people around you who are going to reinforce a greater reality. You have to surround yourself by people, watch this, who are a tangible demonstration of what deliberate effort can produce. Get away from all these people who are talking, they always talk about what they're going to do, what they were about to start. You got to ditch that. You got to, I'm not saying that you don't love them, but they're not providing any leverage for you into the realm of your future. You have to be around people who are a tangible demonstration of what deliberate effort and intentionality and consciousness routinely can produce in your life. You need people that model what you anticipate of materializing in your life. I hope you're getting this. I hope you're understanding, and that you're getting ready now to move into a phase of your life, a chapter of your life, a dimension of your life that you would never otherwise be if not for taking some deliberate action right now to position your life in the best possible place it could be in. Number two, if you're going to start living deliberately and not by default, and taking this moment now to chart the course of your destiny and the rest of your life, that number two, you have to deliberately censor your conversation so that your inferior language and speech patterns don't develop a narrative that creates a life of regret and dread. Go back and listen to it over and over again. You got to learn how to censor your mouth, censor the conversation, that inferior language, that internal dialogue that you're feeding yourself, because it will develop into a narrative that creates a life you regret and dread. Because, ladies and gentlemen, and make no mistake about it, your language is usually the greatest contributing factor as to why you have submitted to certain unfounded limitations in your life. Your dialogue is the reason that a lot of your dreams have been dashed and your aspirations have been disappointed. You say things like, nobody like me could ever do anything like that. I can't see myself doing it. Well, that's the problem there. Until you can see yourself doing it, you'll never do it. I think it was Henry Ford who said, the man who says he can and the man who says he can't are both right. That's just how much power is in your declaration, your mouth, in your professions over the things you say about your life. That's why you got to get up every day and make some declarations and declare, I'm one of the best to ever do it. My products are being sold every single day of my life. My name is getting more and more exposure. My children are going to be in a much better position financially than I ever was. And so, but it will not happen until you deliberately start to censor your conversation. Anytime you hear something negative coming out of your mouth concerning you, you must combat it, right? You got to get up and say, I am great. I am brilliant. I am phenomenal beyond definition. I am a genius. Stop being afraid to talk to yourself. Because let me tell you, if you live long enough, some days the only person you'll have to talk to will be you. And people say you're crazy if you talk to yourself, but I say you're crazy if you don't talk to yourself. You better talk to yourself until you get it through that thick head of yours that you were meant for more, that life has way more to show you. And guess what? You have way more to show life. So if I'm going to live a life deliberately and take my life to the dimension and to the degree of greatness and success that I wanted to go to, then I have to deliberately surround myself with people who influence me to act and build the life I desire. Number two, I've got to deliberately sense my conversation so that my interior inferior language doesn't create a narrative of a life that is filled with regret and dread. Number three, I've got to deliberately set out to conquer every intimidating factor that life presents to me as insurmountable. Now, that is powerful because there are some things that are going to come at you once you make a determination to do more, reach further, acquire more out of your life. That's going to try to impose fear upon you until you start entertaining the thought of not proceeding as planned. That's what happens. That's why you have to deliberately say, I'm going to conquer every intimidating factor in my life. Because if not, your mind will try to impose on you, well, maybe you should entertain, not proceeding as planned. Maybe we should hold off a year or so. Let some things settle down. Maybe we should do this. All those crazy reasons that your mind wants you to grasp onto for not doing what you should be doing. But let me tell you this, and I hope you remember the rest of your life. Just because the path is difficult doesn't mean it's not doable. Let me give you that for free. I'm not going to charge you a dime for that. Just because the path is difficult doesn't mean it's not doable. As a matter of fact, you don't grow on easy paths. It's my greatest growth in life and business and career, whatever, has always come from a difficult path. It developed my tenacity, my fortitude. It caused my innovative instincts to kick in so that I can accomplish more than I ever imagined or phantom that I can accomplish. But you have to make up your mind that everything in your life that's telling you that it's insurmountable, you're going to conquer it. That you're going to break barriers that people never thought you would. You're going to reach goals and mile markers and certain levels of prestige and prominence and prosperity that most people couldn't. He'll never do that. You're going to surpass, hear me when I tell you, you're not only going to surpass your critics and your naysayers' expectations. Let me go out on the ledge and tell you, you're going to surpass your own expectations. Because even no matter how great you expect of yourself, you're still undercutting yourself. You're still shortchanging yourself. There's so much more to you than meets the eye. But you'll never see that person. That person will never emerge until you start getting on this deliberate path to get the kind of results that you want out of your life. So I can't live life by default. I've got to live it very deliberately. Number four, for how am I going to do that? You have to deliberately search intensely for all available opportunities for self-improvement. Why? Because self-improvement is the key for sustained success, longevity, productivity, and prosperity in your life. Part of my process, part of my daily agenda is always to find an opportunity to improve, right? Because the more improved I am, right, the more I attract what I need for my next project, my next endeavor. The more I improve, the more increase is drawn to me, is attracted to me. Contracts get bigger, salaries get bigger, checks get bigger, everything gets bigger. But hear me, nothing on the outside gets bigger than the person you are on the inside. I need you to remember that the rest of your life. Nothing is going to get bigger on the outside than you get bigger on the inside, right? And so every day you got to find all available opportunities for self-improvement. Even if that means I'm paying for that, right? I see somebody who can teach me, who can model the kind of life I want. I got to find me a coach, a mentor, somebody whose experiences and life's expertise and the results they've gotten out of life. I've got to find all available opportunities for self-improvement. If I'm going to have not just success, and not just longevity, not just productivity and prosperity, but here's the operative word, sustained success. Anybody can be successful for a month or two, But I'm talking about people who've been successful for decades now, have sustained productivity, sustained longevity and prosperity in their life. This is what you want to surround your life with. These are the people who you want to surround your life with. And then number 5, and finally, this is what I want to say to you as you are endeavoring and saying, you know what, I'm retiring from living by default. I'm getting ready to live deliberately. You have to deliberately commit to being the best of the best at whatever it is that you do. You have to commit, deliberately commit, that I'm going to be the best of the best at whatever it is I do. I don't know what you do, but when I walk in the room, my mind says I'm the best prepared in that room, right? I've invested more. I've studied more. I've sacrificed more. I've labored more. It's a certain demeanor and attitude that you have when you make a commitment to yourself. To say, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do it with the fullest level of zeal and vigor and tenacity that I can possibly muster up. But you must, if you're going to go into this next season of your life, the next phase of your life, doing something phenomenal, doing something extraordinary, then you have to deliberately commit to being the best of the best at whatever it is that you're doing. So for another day, I don't want you to look at yourself randomly. I don't want you to look at yourself as not worthy of a deliberate commitment, deliberate focus, deliberate effort. If you would take what I'm saying to you this day, go back, revisit it, replay it, rehearse it, apply it, execute it in your life, I promise you, you're getting ready to see off the chart results, and you're getting ready to see off the chart productivity and prosperity like you have never seen it in your life. You're going to amaze yourself at the degree of accomplishments that are getting ready to be under your belt. It's going to be so mind-blowing to you that you have after having come through this kind of past, this kind of trauma, this kind of negative exposure, have now flipped the script, decided that I'm going to take my power back, that I'm not going to just sit around and be pitiful and say, well, I'm just going to live by default and whatever happens, happens. No, you're getting ready to take full charge and you're getting ready to chart your path to your destiny. That's going to make everybody connected to you generally proud of you. That's going to make everybody that's connected to you genuinely thrilled that you didn't give up, that you made a commitment to yourself. If I'm going to do this, then I'm going to be one of the best that's ever done this. I'm talking to you. Yes, you who are looking at me now. And everything I'm saying to you is resonating in your heart and in your spirit and your mind. I was sent to you today to catch you, to tell you, to get ready, to refocus, reconfigure some things, revisit some stuff that you prematurely quit on, that had the potential to be another source of income into your life, into your family, into your business. And tell you this day, you just have to get to being deliberate about what you want, not letting up off of it, being aggressive, being progressive about what it really is you want to like, and made up your mind. I'm not dying before this comes to pass. That's the attitude that you have to have. If you're going to live a very deliberate life and see very definite results out of your life and live up to the extent of the potential that you have been entrusted with by God. Men didn't give you that. That's something that only God could give you. And so if you got it, you might as well make good of it. But again, I want you to rehearse it over and over in your mind. I can't live by default. I'm not just getting up every day, numb to life, going through some ritualistic, mundane motion. Just this, that's not life. Life is being fulfilled. It gives you a fulfilled feeling when you know you're fulfilling the purpose that you were put on the planet for. You got something nobody else has. I know it might be difficult to process that and to even receive it. But there's something in you now that 1 billion other people don't have. There's something that you've been gifted with that is uniquely yours. But until you decide to live deliberately and do things in a deliberate way, we'll never see it. You'll rob the world of what you were put here to do and what you were put here to contribute until you decide this is the moment that I'm going to be deliberate. Let me say to you, the more deliberate you are, the more drastic of an improved and increased life you're going to experience. Well, it's time to bless the Lord in our giving. That's right. It's our global giving opportunity. That means people just like you from all over the country, around the world, different zip codes, area codes, they take this opportunity to plant seed in the ground, and they know without a doubt that a supernatural harvest is going to be their portion. Those of you who are tithing on this day, I want you to return the Lord's tithe. It's simply 1/10 of everything that the Lord allows to come through your hand, and you return it back to Him so that the windows of heaven are opened over your life. So those of you who are tithing, I want you to do that this day. The giving means are right here at the bottom of the screen. Find the one that's the most convenient for you. Take advantage of it. Everyone else, I want you to strive this day to sow at least a $42 faith seed offering in this service today. I want you to believe that this seed is going to trigger supernatural financial favor in your life, in your business, in the lives of those that you are connected to. So I want you to plant that. You say, Bishop, well, I don't have that $42 seed. Well, I want you to get the best seed that you have, but I want you to put something in the ground this day. God's going to honor it, and God's going to cause increase to show up in your life like never before. Keep on giving. Well, I'm out of time for this session for the day. I hope you have enjoyed it. More than that, I hope you execute it. That's my job. That's my job, to give you the insight, the information, give you the mechanics of how to accomplish things. That's what this channel is about. It's about successfully living, loving, and leading, getting the best possible results out of life that you possibly can. Right? So I'm wishing you the best. And I know I'm getting ready to see you emerge doing some tremendous things that you didn't even know you could do. Don't forget to go to my website, www.henrybolden.com. Go to the bookstore there. There's some resources there that I know are going to benefit you. This book here, go get it. It's called What's So Great About You? This is a question that everybody has asked, because it's so much easier for people to ascribe greatness to somebody else, but it's very difficult for them to see them in themselves. But I want to show you in this book, give you the blueprint for how to unearth and unveil that greatness that's locked up in you. It's in there. Don't let life fool you. Don't let setbacks and mistakes you made early in life make you think that there's nothing in you. There is something in you. The question is, what's so great about you? Pick it up. It's in paperback form. You can also get it in ebook download. It's available on the site. Also, there's a book of 50 inspirational quotes and affirmations that I wrote, that I use, that I meditate on, that I believe is going to motivate you to be the best you can possibly be. It's there in ebook format. Real soon, we'll have the paperback version available. It's great gifts for co-workers, business partners, people you're trying to motivate, your mentees, your students, whoever. But I believe it's going to be something great for you to read and have in your possession. All right. Well, don't forget, before I go, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, what's up with you? Subscribe now, hit the notification bell. Tell at least 5 people, your family, friends, coworkers, go and subscribe to this channel. It's going to change your life forever. Always remember, success has a formula, and I want to be the one that shows it to you. I'll see you on next time.